stop the abuse and start a conversation. Domestic violence and abuse within existing relationships is a significant problem faced by Australian society in 2017. Our Watch statistics show that 1 in 3 Australian women has experienced domestic violence since the age of 15. 8 out of 10 women aged 18 to 24 have been publicly harassed, and 1 in 5 Australian women have experienced some kind of sexual violence. These shocking statistics show the prevalence of a serious domestic violence problem in Australia. But this video is going to give practical suggestions as to how to stop this unwanted violence. How do you define abuse in relationship? Most people equate physical violence by a partner as abuse. However, this is merely one aspect of the abuse puzzle. The Centre for Relationship Abuse Awareness provides a more holistic view of the term abuse. Physical abuse is any form of physical contact designed to hurt or pressure someone. There is also economic abuse, which might be manifested as one partner not allowing the other easy access to the family's finances, or forbidding the individual to have a job. Sexual abuse is another obvious one, and any form of sexual coercion counts as this form of harassment. Another prevalent form of abuse is verbal abuse, which might involve yelling, name-calling, blaming, accusing, humiliating, or criticizing. Emotional abuse can be the most difficult to explain. It could involve any form of unwanted pressuring or controlling within a relationship. Psychological abuse is similar to emotional abuse, and the consequences are significant. Psychological abuse may involve isolating a partner, controlling what they do and who they have contact with, and attacking their vulnerabilities. Psychological and emotional abuse can have significant consequences for the victim.
These varying types of underlying abuse is where the confusion may lie, as people may be in an abusive relationship but not realize it. In the stimulus video created by One Love Labyrinth, Seb, the abusive partner, never physically abuses his partner, yet they are still in a heavily abusive relationship. Ali and Seb both fail to recognize this abusive relationship, as neither of them realize that abuse is not just physical violence. Seb is in fact psychologically, verbally, and emotionally using Ali, as he's involved in yelling at her, blaming her for things, tormenting her, and not trusting her, meaning that Ali feels bad about herself. If Ali and Seb had been educated about the varying types of abuse, they would have had the opportunity to seek interventions early to prevent this abusive relationship from escalating and becoming habitual. If we fail to put in place measures to stop abuse now in Australia, both males and females will continue to be victims of many forms of abuse, and there will be a continual rise in abuse rates. Therefore, using the Pooch model, I've determined a twofold strategy for addressing abuse: being educated at critical life stages and associated practical support for victims. This strategy includes 3 key actions. This first action would be a large-scale education program to educate people from an early age. This would take a while to have effect. However, it will provide long-lasting impacts with medium and long-term positive results. The education program could be rolled out in primary schools across Australia and include age-appropriate information about what is and is not acceptable behaviour within a relationship. These education modules could be pre-prepared by the government and personnel trained in its delivery in primary schools across Australia. The second strategy, also involving education, would be to educate older people in the demographic over 30 years of age via a television, internet and media campaign. This could focus on asking people in this age bracket to think about their own behaviours and that of their partner within their relationships. This age bracket was selected because within this demographic, people are often in committed, long-term relationships. Whilst this may have an immediate positive effect on this age bracket, leaving education about abuse in relationships until people are older will leave a gap in adolescent years in which abusive relationship patterns may form. If this was identified as a significant problem, a similar education strategy could be delivered in high schools across Australia.
The third part of the strategy campaign to eliminate abuse would be to provide support and services for those within an abusive relationship. These services will include free legal advice, free counselling, and allocating victims a social worker who is responsible for helping them to recognise the relationship they're in as abusive, and provide them with practical resources such as accessing short-term accommodation and other logistical issues which are often viewed as an impediment to leaving an abusive relationship. These strategies will contribute toward lowering the number of people within an abusive relationship in Australia. However, it is recognised that abuse in relations can, unfortunately, never be eradicated. Adults will need to be continually reminded of the different manifestations of abusive relationships, so education and support will never be able to stop completely. There are a number of support options already available for victims of domestic violence. These include organisations such as Reach Out, White Ribbon, the Domestic Violence Hotline, and Lifeline. Organisations already creating awareness include Our Watch, White Ribbon, and the Australian Women Against Violence Alliance. There are a number of government strategies and policies relating to domestic violence, and information is located on the Australian Government website, www.respect.gov.au. This website contains the governmental strategy of Let's Stop It at the Start, indicating a preventative campaign aimed at tackling domestic violence before it gets out of hand and becomes an intergenerational problem. As I've outlined in this information video, there are a number of resources already available for victims of domestic violence. However, to coin the phrase of the Australian government, if you think violence is a big problem, tackle it when it's a little one.